What's up, guys? It's season 7, lucky number 7 for Dance Moms. Here at AfterBuzz TV, we are doing the after show, and Maddie and Mackenzie are gone, but the show must go on. This is AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, living on the dance floor. We all know that tune. That means Dance Moms is back.
Yes.
It's finally season 7. We are so grown, but we love these little girls. And can we stand their moms or?
Oh my gosh,
we have a lot to talk about.
We have so much to talk about. Yes, we're excited to see the girls, the dancers. Not so much the moms. Maybe through the season we might change our views on that. But Maddie's gone. Maddie and Mackenzie are gone. What was your reaction to all the girls were meeting up for the first dance class and they were like, this feels so weird? What was your reaction? Did you guys feel like it was weird?
Yes, it felt so weird, and really watching the dances, you see how much Mackenzie and Maddie carried the team.
Played a part.
That's true.
Yeah. In the rehearsals, I was like, oh my god, I don't know if this is going to come together or not. I was really nervous for them.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I didn't know how the show would be because they're the stars.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how Abby's acting and how everything's going now. And I always wondered that too, watching the seasons past. Just, what would happen if Maddie just walked off?
Right. And Maddie and Mackenzie, they have, I'm pretty sure Maddie has the most following, but Mackenzie's not far behind. And do you all think that the viewers are going to be affected by the show? Like, do you think there's going to be less viewers now that they're gone?
I don't know. Maybe out of curiosity, or even like people being really excited for the show itself. I don't know. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people still stay loyal. I was gonna stay. I was, no matter what, I was definitely gonna stay loyal because I still love. I still have some favorites that are still, Nia.
Right.
A lot of Kalani, and not picking my
Kendall.
favorites, but yeah, exactly, Kendall. There's still great stories to follow.
Right.
I don't see it as the Maddie show, so I'm happy that those of you who did watch. I think that it's great to still support. It's really important. Otherwise, you're proving Abby right that Maddie and Mackenzie are everything, and they're just backup dancers.
Right.
I was really happy to see this show because, like I said, I was worried, but I feel like the show was still very entertaining.
Absolutely.
A lot was going on with the moms, with the kids, so many surprises that we'll get into, and I was just really enjoyable. And honestly, I really even didn't miss Maddie that much. It felt like any other season.
Exactly. Like maybe they were out sick today. Like it hasn't really hit yet. But yeah, so Abby actually uses the words "no Maddie" to hide behind, and it's like, obviously I would find that offensive if I was a backup dancer. But do you all feel like the team judging by today and in the past? Do you think that they were hiding behind Maddie and?
I don't think it was hiding behind. I just think, in the beginning, I thought maybe the moms were a little crazy and Abby wasn't playing favorites, and it just so happens that Maddie was really great.
Right.
And, you can't help but putting the best in front and center. Why not? It makes the dance look best. But, after a while, it did seem, that she was picking and choosing who she wanted to give certain dances to.
Absolutely.
Show off certain parts of their, that's what a choreographer does, is show off the best parts of their dancer. But in her case, I feel like she kind of abandoned the others. So now in this episode, it's interesting to see her say, oh, Nia Sue, let's see all the things that we have going on for you. And, she keeps it more updated with all the other girls.
Right.
Where before she really wasn't. She was starting fights.
And I felt like it was so awkward how she was like, Nia, you can come stay in like my room with me and I'll be your guardian. Like, it was almost like a little bit creepy. I was like, so creepy. Creeped up.
It's kind of like Abby's little strategic way to let me, what is it, bribe you almost, get your sweet side and you'll be my next new star. Do you guys think that that's maybe what what her goal is doing right now? Is she plotting to kind of make Nia the new number one? Do you think maybe that's why?
I think she's giving everyone an option. Okay. And she's seeing who's the best and who reacts to her manipulation, I guess. To see who kind of feeds off of what she does. Because Maddie was so close, Mackenzie was so close, you know, close to her mother who died. Right. And, you know, let's see what happens. But also she did say Bryn's her favorite. She said Bryn's the skinniest and Bryn's the best. Yeah. Even though she didn't raise her.
I don't know, though. After this episode and seeing how she placed in the drama and not being strong like the other girls, I don't know if Bryn is going to be her favorite. So maybe she will rely more on Nia or one of the other girls.
I think the pressure was definitely on. And even Maddie says, like, you can see in the past seasons, Maddie's face is just, before she goes on stage, she's always very quiet, very calm, like trying to get out of her own head, but then again think of all the steps. And you could see Bryn was like getting the negativity from the moms. Everybody's rooting for her to lose, and now you got to go on the stage and prove everybody. You know, Maddie at least had the support of everybody. So Bryn, I mean, this is a little girl. Anybody wouldn't be able to handle that pressure. So
you're right. I mean, I could even see the moms getting on each other, but I can't believe grown women are so mean to little girls. I mean, who would possibly do that?
Seriously, Jill and Jocelyn
on national TV.
I don't know if there's producers behind them being like,
Probably.
hey, let's stir some things up and make a little drama, because without them, honestly, would there be
conversation up? And
would there be anything?
True. That's a good question.
But I don't like, I don't know if we should bring up the end, but Jocelyn was just screaming and taking the side of the other mother and saying that poor Bryn was, you know, lying, and it's like, who are you going to trust? Why wouldn't you trust?
It's so funny because, like, all of these past seasons, jealousy has not gotten them anywhere. Yet they keep showing their jealousy because they keep showing their own jealousy because they keep playing the same card of trying to throw somebody under the bus.
Always.
But one of the conversations that was kind of brought up, or questions that was brought up during this episode, was more chances. Now that Maddie is gone, Mackenzie's gone, there's not those two cards to play. They're hoping that Abby's going to give them more chances. Do you all think that Abby's going to, you know, treat people at least a little bit more equally, or at least kind of opening doors for...
No, I really don't think so. Abby, you know how Abby is. I think maybe in the beginning, the first episode here, I loved her attitude, so outgoing. It was so positive. Fun to see that.
Totally.
It was awesome, but now we're going to definitely see her turn as episodes go on, and she's going to pick her favorites. We're going to get into the same thing again, but for now, it's kind of fun seeing her be nice and being like an actual legit dance teacher.
But you know it's not gonna last.
You could see it turning already.
Yeah.
And I think she thought that the boys were her golden ticket, and they weren't.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I put. I thought about that too. I was like, was that just a plot to kind of get more points in the competition?
Of course.
Just throw some boys in there?
Exactly. They're so rare. Anytime you get a boy in a dance, and then if he can dance, I mean, you're almost guaranteed to get a winning routine.
Absolutely. And who doesn't like to see a duet with the opposite sex? You know, with them too. I think it's the cutest thing.
It's so cute.
When they work with the opposite sex. Yeah, absolutely.
And like when Maddie did it, you know, you remember that stuff.
Yes, those are the ones you remember. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I thought, though, Kendall, I was not crazy about her dance. I didn't think that was going to be a winning routine. And the fact that she actually placed higher than Bryn, I don't know.
Yes, and we're going to get to that too, about our reaction to the actual scoring and what we think about the judge's decision. But Bryn, in the beginning of the episode, she got top of the pyramid. Do you guys think she has the best technique out of all of the girls, honestly? Do you think that Abby's is she making the right choice when she's saying Bryn's my next star?
I feel like it's hard to tell.
Kalani's one of my favorites as far as technique goes, but...
Yeah, I mean, I have a background in dance, and I feel like I'm a good... You know, I could critique them well, but it's kind of hard on TV to judge, and the way they're shooting it, I can't really tell at the time who has the best technique right now, to be honest with you.
True, absolutely. Good.
I think, too, that, you know, since Chloe has had some success, she's trying to get kind of another Chloe, like a Chloe Maddie clone.
Okay.
So she, finds Bryn. I obviously don't know, but I'm just kind of assuming. She likes thin, and she said Bryn's the thinnest, and that's what she wants. It's those long, straight legs that were skinny. I was a ballet dancer too, and I was never very thin, but I still, but it was all about keeping your straight legs, and it's easier if you have very thin legs,
Okay.
So I don't know.
The 411 on dancing. I'll never support a teacher saying that a child is the skinniest.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
On national television.
I think she just snapped.
Yeah.
Dance teachers are weird. Like, I mean, there was some
She's
studios.
Fat. She's fat, and you're and you're like you're fat, and you're making someone feel bad.
I think because she has weight issues, it makes her feel better for
She's
some
living
reason
like
or something.
what is it, vicariously through the kids
yeah.
or something.
Oh, that's
weird.
totally it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Does Abby believe in the girls without Maddie, or well, I was just trying to find out if you guys did think that the boys were kind of a plot to get more points, and we definitely agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Anytime they bring a boy in, especially that wasn't really brought up in the ALDC.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of obvious, right?
Yeah,
And
of
she
course.
brought in some ethnic vibes because she doesn't really have, that much ethnic diversity going on. She has Nia.
Yeah.
And Kalani, I guess, could pass for a little ethnic, but for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, there's definitely not. I think Nia takes the win on that. But
Totally.
I wanted to find out the boys' background, though. I was kind of curious, like, how long they've been in dance, if they had done competitions like this. Who are they? Just like, I pulled some random kids off the street.
Yeah, and that more so,
I'll Google it.
And that more so supported the whole idea of maybe this is just a gimmick to get more points because she does do that. She'll bring guests all the time, and she doesn't really give them any. And we're not saying that Abby is behind the production, but it seems like she's not really giving them. Just because there's some guys that she's going to help with the routine, she's not going to give them actual time to, camera time to really give them respect as a dancer and put their name out there and take advantage of the platform of Dance Moms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to learn a little bit more about those boys.
There's probably a reason. They didn't have time and they just cut out that part or something. They're not going to be around.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point in investing in there?
Right.
Yeah,
I won't Google. I'll Google later. And I'll tweet it out.
Too much time now.
We might. Well, you guys, if you guys even find more information, definitely comment below. And one of the many arguments that the moms had this episode is they were talking about, social media is for 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because the moms were arguing with Ashley and Ashley was upset because she saw some things that they actually put on social media, but since she confronted them, their comeback was, social media is for 12-year-olds, so your kid needs to stop crying. It's like, but you're the grown woman talking about another grown woman on social media. So I just thought that was, really unfortunate.
Yeah. Those moms were making me so angry, and the fact that they just love to team up and gang up on one mom, and Ashley has really no chance of winning this. I mean, it's all them against her.
Yeah,
Holly,
I
did kind of appreciate the fact that Holly was a little more neutral.
I love it. Yeah.
And
I think that's her character. I think that's what we love about Holly is that she's as a principal, she always tries to, stay the mediator, stay positive as much as she can, even though she says that she understands where the negativity's coming from. She tries to explain and analyze that. But I love that she's very honest and she's always the mature one. It's like, my goodness.
Well, the end of last season, season 6, it seemed like Holly was kind of ganging up too. Yeah. And it was good to see her coming back and feeling bad for what happened.
Absolutely.
But she explained it really well. She said, look, we have these kids who have been raised in the ALDC and this girl comes in and all of a sudden she's the favorite. Like, where is their fairness? And Nia has been waiting forever. And you saw Nia's struggle going, trying to get that key role in any of those dances, and it's always an accomplishment. Like, she finally did it, and Bryn just walks in and grabs it. So it makes sense why, you know, Holly was saying what she was saying, and I'm glad she explained it. But at the same time, there's no excuse for the way Jill and Jocelyn are treating this kid. It makes no sense. And Ashley. I feel bad for Ashley.
I know, I do. And she seems like a nice mom. They both seem like nice people. I was like, how can you do that? But and then a part of me is like, did Abby just bring Bryn in just to kind of have someone else to make the girls maybe work harder, to push them more? Maybe, you know, she realizes she's not the best dancer and some of her girls are better, but she just wants that girl to like kind of jab the other girls, make them work a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the, also another scene that I want to point out is when they actually got to the competition and the crowd kind of went wild and they were so surprised that so many people still showed up even though Maddie and Mackenzie aren't there. And it kind of translated to me as if they doubted themselves. Yeah. That they came to a competition and, like, of course, I would have never ever would I, as a viewer, would have thought, oh, just because Maddie's not there, there's not going to be much of a crowd. You're still you're still the cast of Dance Moms. Maddie's awesome. We love her too, but that doesn't mean that, you know, you're not going to get as much support. And I think it's really unfortunate that it sounds like they buy Abby's story. Yeah. They've bought it already to the point where they're just like, we're nothing with it. I mean, why were you surprised?
I feel like it's a lot of brainwashing.
It's like, do you really believe you're nothing without Maddie? So I thought that was really an interesting scene.
But also, does everyone know, you know, or at that time, did everyone know that Maddie and Mackenzie left?
That's a good question.
So, you know, I would want to see in a few episodes if something happened. Because do you remember when Abby had all those legal issues and no one showed up? Wow. No one showed up at their competition. So
that's right.
Who knows what'll happen? And plus, Abby has all these new legal things coming out. So you never know.
I'm interested to see if she can even finish out the season, if another dance teacher is to come step in. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
It's crazy. It's like their real life, our entertainment.
Well, it grew to be that, you know, because when they started, it wasn't a big show. Exactly. It wasn't, I don't know.
That's what happens with reality TV. Your reality really, really does, like, become, you know, huge. Like, we fall in love with it.
You're right. And they were so little, too. Now it's a little bit easier to, like, follow the dances and really enjoy them because they're older. And the mini group is going to come back in. And for me, they're cute, but it's a little bit harder to follow them. They're just 7. They're just so little.
Yeah. Same. I'm, like, not as excited for the little minis. I'm not.
I mean, I loved Asia.
Oh my
Remember
God.
Asia? And
I still follow her on Instagram.
I love her. And I watch all of her videos on YouTube.
Her show, she had a reality show, and I loved it too.
What was that called? It was something Asia.
It was something
like I don't know, Keeping Up Asia or something. But but yeah, I love that, and I feel like if the minis had that fire and that much passion,
they have to have something different, to kind
not
of catch our eye.
Cutesy, you know.
Like it needs to be unique and different, so we're like actually interested in them. So now we want to get to the dances and analyze the dances. So Kendall's duet, my writing that I put here, my note here was face, because she just never has any confidence to me. And Kendall's, she's so beautiful, but she always just kind of has this, she puts her eyebrows up and you can tell she's in her own head trying to think of the steps instead of being there with the emotion. And I think Maddie's found a poker face that works for whatever dance she's doing to make the emotion look accurate. But Kendall doesn't have that default face yet. And the default face, unfortunately, it really looks like she's always in her mind. But then there was one part where she did remember, this is the emotion I want to show, but then she went back to the regular face.
You have to think about passion. You have to be passionate in something.
And it's sad because it's like season 7. Like you should be practicing that all the time.
It is acting though. It is feeling the music. You can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna make an angry face now, and I'm gonna make a sad face.
Right.
You gotta like feel it. And you're right. She just doesn't have that confidence. And I feel like Abby and the mothers, everyone, like just being so hard on them.
That's what it is.
The girls are like little ducklings. I don't know.
Right.
Well, I mean, in Abby's defense, I guess, I understand why she's doing it because it's a hard world. And if you're going to be a professional dancer, you have to be able to take it. Yeah. And also deal with competition and not cry. And I do get it. I mean, yes, they're children and they shouldn't, you know, when they were 7, you know, there is a line there, but I do understand what she's doing.
Right, absolutely. And I think that you make a good point because it makes me think of maybe Abby saying, I love you, and if I'm not going to be hard on you from the person that you love, then you're never going to understand it when it's coming from these people who don't care about you, you know? It's like I've heard this before, so now I can take it, but the person who told me actually cared about me versus a judge who could care less where my career goes. You're right. So maybe that's why Abby's the way she is.
Yeah, and that's another reason too why I thought Maddie was so successful is that I was watching some of like the after interviews and she was just fearless, you know, she didn't care what Abby had to say. And even like Mackenzie was like so fearful of like, oh, I don't want Abby to yell at me, and Mackenzie's just like whatever, Maddie's like whatever, I can handle it, and she was just so tough, and it's that toughness too.
But it's also and sorry to interrupt you. No. But yeah, but it's also I think that you make a good point because I think about the way that Maddie handled things with her mother and you know seemed very secretive, if you guys remember. They like, you could tell that they'll go home and maybe she will talk to them about what happened today and don't listen to, you know, Abby today, but go back and do your best. And also she knew that she was the favorite, so you know, just don't cry ever, and know that the few times that you do cry, she'll be sensitive to that. So I think she had a game plan, you know. Let's be sweet and strong in front of her face, and when we get home, we'll talk about it. We might even talk crap about Abby, but just never do, you know, just never ever to her face. And maybe that's the strategy that they had.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I felt so bad for Bryn's, the accusation that they made before her dance.
I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I hate when people are, you know, lying and pointing fingers. It's like, own up. Own up.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so Bryn, her duet partner, which was a little boy, the mother goes to the moms and claims that Bryn did not want to do the dance. She was scared. She was sad. She was no longer interested in doing it, when really, in reality, the cameras even showed that the little boy was nervous and didn't think he would be able to do it. But of course, the moms sided with the boy and said, Bryn, you're weak. Of course you didn't want to do the dance. Of course you knew that you weren't good enough. So Bryn, it really worked up some emotions for her. And right before she was going on, she was heavily, heavily breathing like, oh my gosh, I don't need this right before this dance. Like, I just can't imagine. And I felt so bad. Yeah. I don't know. It sucks.
I felt the same way. It's hard enough getting up there and performing and dancing without having the moms, without having your partner backing out on you.
And they learn it in that week. So it's like you have all this new choreography and you're trying, sometimes two, 3 dances or whatever they do. And they learn it that week. And it's like you can't handle everything, especially being so young.
And it's like, why would Bryn not want to do the dance? She's literally been dancing. I don't know if it's been longer than this boy, but this is her chance. She's at least going to go out there and fail, then fail by not trying to dance.
I mean, you could see Jocelyn's and Jill's face. You could see them being mean girls to this little girl. And it was like this flash of evil. What are you doing? And Jocelyn said, well, you know, do you think that the mother doesn't know between he and she? No, but I do think that she's trying
confused or something.
Or she's on camera for the first time with her son, and she wants to make him look good. I don't know, but and she doesn't think that everything's being filmed because who knows, when you're filming a show, it's constantly going and things are cut, things make it, and she probably didn't think that it would make it.
Right. No, that's a good point. So Bryn's Dance now. Bryn's Dance, I liked her dance. At the end of the dance, and you guys can definitely comment on the entire dance, but one thing I noticed is at the end there was an acting sequence.
There was.
Yeah. And I've never seen Abby do a specific acting sequence where it was you know, not even much dancing, just totally kind of telling a story. Was that a plot to get more points for Bryn because she already wanted Bryn to have the winning ticket?
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy a little bit of a story to
Me
it
too.
at the end, but she even said, you know, this year you got to be able to act, do it all. But they didn't get any acting coaches and they didn't get any acting training. And just to like throw
Good
it
point.
like, it was just like, why? Like, they're not prepared for this. You almost like set them up to fail in some weird way.
Right. Yeah.
So funny. I don't know. I kind of think she was trying to scare Bryn. And, you know, she knew she was going to do well. And when you put pressure on someone to do something, they kind of, they either have to take it or they don't.
Absolutely.
You know, you sink or swim.
Absolutely.
So I think she was expecting her to swim.
Yeah, but then she gets low scores. She places fourth.
Right.
Bryn places fourth and Kendall places third. Were the judges wrong?
I don't know.
Was it technique or something? I don't know if they were watching the same dance we were watching because I was not that impressed with Kendall's dance. It was too cheesy.
No, me either.
You know, Kendall, though, I have a whole thing with her because I feel like she does want specific roles. She wants to be the pretty girl.
Yeah,
that is true.
right.
And everything else, she, you know, gets upset and she does cry. She cries a lot. She used to cry a lot, at least. And I feel like they need to kind of own up. At least Jill does. Kendall's fine, like, do your thing.
Right.
But Jill, stop, you know, pointing the fingers and saying all that about Bryn.
True.
And also, Kendall does hunch. She does hunch over. It's just a fact.
She really does.
So they need to stop pretending like you can't see it because you can see it.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it's such a horrible comeback for the first episode. They didn't even place first. And of course, the big question for this episode is, are they going to be able to hold it without Maddie? And it's like, you didn't even get second.
No, I think Abby's going to have a breakdown.
Your strongest girls didn't even make second. So that really sucked. But no surprise. Group first overall, and the group was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved the group dance. It was awesome.
And everyone was happy for once. And there wasn't really a star.
Right.
And they were just dancing together.
Right.
and even the guys, they kind of hid them in the back of the girls. They were almost more just, okay, we got some guys on stage, but we're going to hide them.
Right.
Yeah, right. I like that.
Right. Any other reactions to the show?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great first episode. I love seeing Abby, like I said before, in this good positive mood.
Right.
I like seeing her hair a little bit flatter too, without so much of the poppet. Like, I thought it looked a little bit better. It was like not as many curls or something, but it looked good.
Goodness, yes.
Yeah, so no, I really liked the episode. I'm just worried about, can they continue? Like, is it still going to be as interesting and good? Are they going to have enough drama and enough going on throughout the show? But I like this episode a lot.
Absolutely. Good.
Yeah, I loved it. I just think that there's going to be a lot more drama because when they're not sure about something, they overload. I think it's going to be big.
Oh, yes.
Whenever you think it's safe, Maddie's gone, it's going to be boring. Like, no. They're going to rustle up some drama.
Oh, yes. Always. Well, thank you guys so much for watching the Dance Moms After Show. We forgot to introduce ourselves in the beginning.
Oh, yes.
But my name is Kalima. You can follow me everywhere at Kalima Music Art Wisdom and Twitter at Lima Wisdom ENT. And make sure you follow my girls. Go ahead and tell them where they can stalk you.
I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can stalk me on Instagram and Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV.
I'm Nikki Preston, and you can find me everywhere at Nikki Preston TV. I'll be adding you, hopefully.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.